I think we were, let's see, we were in going into fifth grade. I remember we had just started fifth grade. I think we were like maybe 2 weeks into school, and because it was still summertime, still hot, and like I said, we had a huge yard, so Jason and I would have to mow. We'd have to use a push mower and mow the whole yard. And back then we had big, heavy metal gas cans, and they had the metal spouts on them, funnels on them, and we were trying to put gas into the mower, and you just get gas everywhere, and you get it all over you, and you're sweating. And so we mowed the yard. Dad made sure, hey, you're staying home today. You don't have to go to work with me. You're mowing the yard. So we mowed that whole yard that weekend or that day, and on that Friday after school, and we we get done and we're happy about it. We go inside and we just got done and we walked in the house and Mom had just gotten home and we're standing there and she walks up to us and says, she goes, "I smell gas." And we're like, "Yeah, we were mowing the yard." And she goes, "Have you been sniffing gas?" And I'm thinking, I was like in fifth grade, and I was like, sniffing gas? Of course I sniff the gas. You can smell it from when you pour the gas. That's what I'm thinking. And she goes, "Are you getting high?" And I was like, "What is high?" I didn't even know what high was back then, in fifth grade. And she just gets mad. I mean, she just was not happy. I don't know. That's all I remember about it. And then she left. She grabbed all my brothers and sisters, which had happened a couple of times before, and she went to my grandparents' house. And then Dad came home later, and I remember back then, we didn't have cell phones, but he had a mobile phone in his truck, and I'm sure she called him. And he showed up, and he looked pale, just kind of like he just didn't he just wasn't himself, and I'd seen that a few times being out at work with him, where he would just drive home and he's quiet, and then we'd get home and there would be something going on. Mom was upset about something we had done or something, and I'm sure there were some issues with them that they worked through. You got 6 kids, uh, but he walked in and he was doing his thing, and then it was next morning was Saturday morning. Mom didn't come home. She stayed at her parents' house, and next morning he got up and he told us, he goes, "Pack of bags." He goes, "I need y'all to pack a couple of bags," and we packed a bunch of clothes and stuff, and we thought, hey, we're going to Grandma's again. So anyway, we get in the truck, and I remember we're driving, and he finally told us, because we weren't going down I-35 to Texas. We were taking another road, and he told us he was taking us to this place down south, and we're gonna live there for a little while. So we pull up at this boys' home, and he dropped us off, and we went in and met everybody, and that was kind of the final straw, that she thought we were doing something with gasoline that I had no idea that it even existed. There were some other times, we um, sometimes it just wore on you a little bit, being there, not knowing where you're going to be, like, when am I going to leave here? Holidays were hard. We would go home for holidays, but that was even hard. You're excited about getting to go see everyone, but then you're just, as soon as you get to the house, you're counting down the days that you have to go back. And then you hear from the whole family all this stuff they've got going on and what they're doing, and oh, they're going on vacation, or they're, this is going on, and you're just there visiting, your family, and then the drive back, and the drive back was always hard. I remember, and your dad might not admit this, but I remember we would fight. We would fight because it was just a single cab pickup that Dad had. So one of us had to sit in the middle, one of us sat by the window. We always fought to sit by the window, because then Dad couldn't see us cry. I remember that. You always wanted to sit by the window because you don't want to go back, because that's not your family, but that was a constant thing. And it wasn't, we'd come home for about a week for Christmas, I think, and then we'd get to come home for about a week for summer, and then we had to be back. During that whole time, Dad came in one day and told us to pack a bag again,
Again.
again, and drove us out to Yukon because your dad was dating some older woman.
Is that why he was saying pack a bag? Is because they found
Well,
out?
it just there was that, and it just we had already been out on our own for a little while. Now moving back, we just didn't really care anymore. You know what I mean? We'd had a life of freedom where we just were like, forget this. You know, this is not. And your dad ended up. So anyway, that was part of the issue. You know, we were just wild. That was all on us. And then your dad dropped, or our dad dropped us off in the middle of Yukon and said, "Find a place to live." And we were stranded in front of this girl's apartment that your dad had dated, and we never really went back. We went back briefly for Christmas one year, and then that was it. That's when I walked out and said, I don't. This is not my family, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And where did you guys go for that?
We were homeless.
Really?
Yeah, we lived on the streets for a long time, for about probably 6 or 7 months.
You guys just like
Slept in
ditches?
fields, and usually in fields we'd go camp. We'd basically start a fire and camp, and kind of sleeping. People, you know, some people let us come stay the night every once in a while, and then winter time came around one year, or that year, and it was freezing. I remember it was a bad snowstorm. We found a barn and we tried to sleep in it, but it was just too cold. So we went and found a payphone and called Dad. They had moved to Piedmont by then. And we called Dad, and he said, "I can't do anything for you tonight. You're just going to have to tough it out." So we went over to a friend's house, not far from that barn, and knocked on his window, and he gave us some blankets, and we slept in his car. And honestly, I did not think we were going to survive the night. We were that cold. Me and your dad were huddled up together, trying to stay warm, and it wasn't. We were freezing. I mean, my toes. I still remember. I was scared. I was scared we were done. I don't know how we survived that night. It was brutal.
How did you guys eat during that time?
Oh, I stole food. I did anything and everything I could to just scrounge anything. You know, there was a lot of just going into grocery stores and just grabbing food and doing anything you could. Friends would feed us. And the bad deal was we were still going to school. I would sleep in a field not far from the school, go over to a friend's house, take a shower, and then go to class. Yeah, because I didn't want to stop going to school. But that's what we did, right? Not far from the Mustang High School. I remember when I was 16, I had a track meet that morning on a Saturday morning, and it was my birthday. It was my 16th birthday. And we'd been planning this whole deal, me and Jason. We'd asked Dad, can we go to Brad's house? We're going to go out. We're going to go hang out with some friends. Dad was like, yes, but I need you to get your chores done. And the chores for that weekend was he was having I think it was 3 dump truck loads of dirt dumped in the yard. And we had a very large yard. And we had to rake the whole yard and put like a 2-inch layer of dirt all the way across the whole yard. So I went to my track meet, and it was in Mustang, so I had to run home, which was about a mile and a half, which was fine, you know. Ran home, started on the chores, and we were just working really hard to get it done, and we were almost done, and my parents walked out of the house, and they were dressed to go to my sister's softball pizza party for the end of the year softball. And we asked, hey, Brad's going to be coming over here in a little bit. We're almost done. Can we go ahead and go with Brad tonight? And Dad goes, no, I think y'all need to stay home tonight. So that was, I mean, to me, turning 16 was a big deal. And we ended up having to stay home and do nothing. And, you know, after we had done everything that was asked of us and more,